Hello everyone, today I'm going to be trying this huge basket of British foods. I want to give a big thank you to my friend Sadie, who recently gave me this basket of British goodies for me to try. And she let me borrow the flag back there for my background. Now I'm going to show you all the different goodies in this basket. We have these Cadbury Fingers cookies, Jammie Dodger shortbread cookies, Digestive's wheat biscuits, Bird's original custard, Auntie's spotted dick. We have this Lion Choco Bar, as well as this mint Aero Bar. We also have the infamous Marmite. We also have this Yorkshire pudding mix, which I'm gonna have to make. Finally, we have a can of mushy peas. I'm gonna be trying these mushy peas first, and I'm gonna be eating them with some homemade fish and chips that I'm planning to make. And I decided to make fish and chips because apparently mushy peas are supposed to go with them. The fish and chips recipe is from Cooks Illustrated, and will be written in the description down below. To get started, we're going to make our batter by adding our flour to a large mixing bowl, as well as our cornstarch, cayenne, paprika, pepper, and salt. And we're just going to whisk this all together. Now I'm just going to take a cup and a half of our dry mixture, and I'm going to transfer it to a baking sheet. Now we're going to add in our baking powder into our main bowl, and we're going to go ahead and whisk this up. Now we're going to pour in this large can of beer, which is equivalent to 3 cups. And now we're just going to whisk this all together. To batter our fish, we're going to place a slice of our fish in our flour, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that it is coated in flour. And now we're just going to transfer it to a wire wrap to let all the excess flour drip off. Now we're going to grab a piece of our fish, and we're going to dip it into our batter just like so, and we're going to lift it up, shaking off the excess, making sure that we don't have too much. And now we're just going to place this on top of our flour. And now we're just going to flip it over to coat the other side. Now we're just going to repeat the process until we're done. Now our oil has reached 375. It is in a heavy bottom pot, so we're going to go ahead and place our fish in here now. We're going to be careful just to carefully set it down.
2 hours later.
I finally finished frying the fish, and I also decided to heat up some frozen fries because I was way too lazy to fry anything else, and now we're going to get started on making our mushy peas. Let's just go ahead and open up our can of mushy peas. And here we go. It honestly is just what it looks like. It just looks like some mushy peas, and there's a little bit of juice. And now we're going to transfer it to a hot saucepan to heat up. Mushy peas are marrow-fat peas that have been soaking in water overnight, and then at the factory, once they've been soaking, they cook them into this sort of green mash. So it doesn't look very appetizing, but who knows how it's going to taste with our fish and chips. Alright, it's finally time to try our fish and chips. It literally took me over 2 hours to make, and I'm gonna go ahead and start by squirting a little bit of lemon on top of our fish because I love lemon. And now let's go ahead and try our fish while it's still warm. Here it goes. Wow, I love the fish. It is perfectly cooked, it is super flaky, and the batter is super flavorful. Thin, light, and crispy. Wow, that is some great fish. Now some of you might be wondering, what happened to the tartar sauce and malt vinegar? Well, the reason I didn't add those is because I cannot stand either of those. I do not like malt vinegar at all, and honestly, for me, tartar sauce is just way too rich and way too creamy, and I don't really enjoy it. Now let's go ahead and try our mushy peas as well. I'm kind of scared to try these. I don't think they'll be particularly bad, but honestly, I don't think they'll be particularly good. I mean, look at them. They're all grayish, and honestly, they just don't have a very pleasant color. The smell just smells like mild canned peas, so let's give it a taste, see how it is. You know, they're actually not that bad. They're nice and warm and comforting. The taste sort of reminds me of canned white beans mixed with a little bit of fresh peas. They don't have an almost overcooked pea flavor. They taste very fresh, and honestly, it just goes really well with these fish and chips. It's nice and warm and comforting. Definitely delicious. You know, overall, I thought it was a really unique experience frying fish. It did make quite a mess, but it ended up tasting pretty great in the end. And the mushy peas were a great surprise as well. I really had no clue that I would enjoy them, but actually I do recommend that you get some mushy peas because they're pretty delicious. According to my British friend, which is the one that gave me the basket, you really can't get good fish and chips in the area, so you gotta make your own. And I gotta say, they turned out really delicious. Now I'm just gonna go finish this up and we can try the rest of the treats in our basket. Now I'm back in the kitchen and I'm gonna prepare this Yorkshire pudding. Preparation is gonna be easy. We're just gonna add the whole box into a bowl, along with 2 eggs and 220 milliliters of cold water. And we're just gonna whisk this until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm gonna place this greased muffin tray in a 425-degree oven for around 5 minutes to heat it up, and then we're gonna add our batter into it. I just took our cupcake pan out of the oven, and now we're just gonna carefully pour in our Yorkshire pudding. Now we're just gonna bake these in the oven for around 20 to 25 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. Now while our Yorkshire pudding is baking, I'm going to make Bert's original custard. To start, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of the custard powder to a pot, along with 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now we're going to gradually add in 1 pint of milk, carefully whisking it because we don't want any clumps. And we're just going to go like this. We're just going to add a little bit, and we're going to slowly whisk it in to form a paste. Now that our paste is formed, we're going to go ahead and pour in the rest of the milk, and we're just going to whisk this on medium heat for around 6 minutes. Our mixture is still kind of lukewarmish, and I think I read the instructions wrong, so I'm gonna go ahead and microwave it because that is what they told us to do. It just said though on our instructions that we also need a saucepan, but I'm guessing a saucepan in Britain is different than what you might think a saucepan is in America. Our custard just microwaved for 3 minutes, so I'm going to give it a good whisk because we're going to want no skin on top of our custard. And we're just going to go ahead and microwave this again for another 3 minutes. I just finished microwaving our custard, so I'm just going to transfer a little bit to a bowl to chill. I just took our Yorkshire pudding out of the oven, and I'm going to wait a few minutes for it to cool before we taste it. Alright, it's time to try our Yorkshire pudding. It's still warm, it's nice and fluffy, and it smells super buttery. It almost has like the feeling of a meringue. So let's just go ahead and give this a taste. And you know, the Yorkshire pudding is okay, it's just kind of bland. It does taste a little bit buttery, but I think the mild flavor is because it's supposed to be eaten with meat and gravy. You know, overall I think this is just okay because even if you had a little bit of meat and gravy, the mix is still a little bit bland, so yeah, not really my thing. Now I'm gonna be trying Auntie's Spotted Dick. The reason it's called Spotted Dick is because spotted refers to the little bits of raisin, and dick is what they call cake. And honestly, for most Americans, I think they're probably wondering why in the heck did they call it Spotted Dick, because it sounds like something very different. Now I'm just gonna place our Spotted Dick onto our plate, and there we go, it just pops out just like so, and we're just gonna microwave this for 30 seconds until it's nice and warm. Alright, our Spotted Dick is nice and warm now, and it definitely smells really raisiny, and I also smell a little bit of cinnamon and spices, and it's super soft and delicate. So let's give this a taste. It smells super delicious, I can't wait. You know, at first I really didn't know how I felt about Spotted Dick because it is a packaged cake, but my gosh, this is amazing! It is super fluffy, and I just love the warmth from the spices. I definitely taste some nutmeg and cloves, and I really like the addition of the sultanas, which are white grapes, and the raisins because they add a nice sweetness and softness to the cake. And it also goes great with a cup of tea. The next thing I'm going to be trying is Marmite, and I'm pretty excited about this because in the past I've had Vegemite and I really enjoyed it. So now I'm just going to make some buttered toast and spread a little bit of Marmite on it. I just got our buttered toast, and now I'm just going to scoop out a little bit of our Marmite. You don't want that much, you just kind of want a pea-sized dab on your knife, and you're just going to go ahead and spread it onto your toast. And you know, I'm finding it quite hard to spread. I remember Vegemite being quite easy to spread. It was sort of like a paste, but Marmite is sort of like a syrup, so it's actually quite hard to spread on bread. Alright, I think I got enough Marmite on our toast, so let's give it a taste. And you know, the Marmite really isn't that bad. Honestly, it doesn't have much of a flavor. It honestly just tastes like pure salt. But the reason that is okay is because I used unsalted butter on my toast, so really it just tastes like salted butter on toast. So yeah, it's pretty good. You know, the Marmite overall isn't that bad. However, I do think Vegemite is way better. It's very similar, but Vegemite just has so much more flavor. It tastes way more earthy, and honestly, Marmite just kind of tastes like salt, but it's not bad. Now let's go ahead and try these raspberry Jammie Dodgers. You know, these Jammie Dodgers actually look pretty good. They're just like two thin shortbread cookies sandwiched together with a little bit of raspberry filling in the middle. So let's just go ahead and give this a taste. I think it'll be pretty delicious. You know, overall these are pretty okay for me. At first I thought they were pretty good because you definitely have a sweet raspberry flavor and I love the raspberry filling. However, the cookies themselves are kind of flavorless and they're very dry, even with the jam in the middle. So yeah, they're just not really my thing. Now let's try these Digestive wheat biscuits. I don't have a lot of hope for these Digestive wheat biscuits because I smelled it and I really can't smell anything on it. It just looks very bland and it's quite hard and dry. So let's just go ahead and give this a taste. I really don't know how it's gonna be. You know, these biscuits, they just taste like an ordinary cracker. Honestly, they just sort of remind me of a buttery cracker, and they don't have a lot of flavor, but these would be really good with cheese. Now for our last cookie, Cadbury Fingers. This is one of the Cadbury Fingers. It is very thin, and honestly, it just smells like a bar of Cadbury chocolate. Anyways, let's just give this a taste because I love Cadbury chocolate. And you know, that really reminds me of a Twix. The inside cookie part tastes exactly like the shortbread part of a Twix, and the outer chocolate just tastes like Cadbury chocolate. So overall, these are really good. You will definitely love these if you like Twix. Now let's go ahead and try our Lion Bar. From the picture on the outside, it sort of looks like a Nestle Crunch Bar filled with a little bit of caramel. And the outside just reminds me of a Nestle Crunch Bar. You can definitely see the puff cereal in it, and I love these sort of crunchy like candy bars. Wow, that is delicious. The funny thing is, this also reminds me of a Twix candy bar. On the outside, you have a very thin chocolate layer that's not too overwhelming, and on the inside, it's just filled with toasty rice and a little bit of caramel. And what I love is at the end, you just have a mild hint of toasty rice flavor. And yeah, this is just really delicious. It's like a Twix and Nestle Crunch combined into one bar. And now for one of my favorites, the Aero Bar. Wow, I just love the smell of this Aero Bar. It is so intoxicating. I just love the deep, rich, chocolatey and minty smell. Wow, I can't wait. What makes this Aero Bar so unique is the inside, so I'm just gonna break off a piece so I can show you. It is quite hard to see on camera, but on the inside, if you look really close, you can see little bubbles, so it's sort of like a minty, chocolatey filling on the inside. So yeah, let's just go ahead and have a taste of our Aero Bar. I just love the outside. It's a mild milk chocolate, which really lets you taste the mint. The inside is sort of like a really fluffy white chocolate with a strong mint flavor, and wow, this is just amazing, especially because I love mint. Gosh, you really have to try this because these are so unique. I just love the fluffy textured chocolate that you get from all those little air bubbles. Wow, this is outstanding. Alright, it's finally time to try our last item. This is the pudding that I made earlier. It is still quite soft, but it looks very velvety, so let's give it a taste. Wow, I love the taste of the custard. What I love is that it's not too sweet, it's very mild and very creamy, and it's super velvety and smooth. Wow, this custard is great. Today I had a really fun time trying all the different British foods my friend Sadie gave me, so thank you again for this huge basket of British foods because I really enjoyed my experience. If I had to pick a favorite out of the big basket of British treats, I have to say that the spotted dick was my favorite because it was really unexpected. I really didn't think a packaged cake could be that good. It was super fluffy, and honestly, it was very moist as well, especially for a packaged cake. That is so delicious. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.